You're looking at number 109 Harding Street in Somerton Park, the former home of the Beaumont children. It was here lived 9-year-old Jane, 7-year-old Arnna, and 4-year-old Grant Beaumont. They lived here with their parents, Grant, also known as Jim, and Nancy Beaumont. This is the home they left on the final time on the morning of Wednesday, January 26, 1966. It was a stinking hot 39-degree day. That morning, Nancy Beaumont wakes up circa 7 a.m. The father, Grant Beaumont, is actually away on business. He's a linen salesman, and he's left home the day before, actually, and he's headed to make a sale in Snowtown in the state's north, which is ironic. Of course, Snowtown would later feature in another series of infamous crimes. But that hot morning, Nancy allows the 3 children to travel by bus to Glenelg Beach, which is about 2.6 kilometres from this home. Nancy gives Jane 8 shillings and 6 pence. Now, that's pre-decimal currency, so I'm not very familiar with that, but I believe it's around something like equivalent to 85 cents in the day. And of course, that would be later be prominent. The money. Jane carried a shoulder bag containing 2 towels, and Nancy insists they return by midday. Now, there is some confusion about the exact time they left home. They left this place that morning. The official time appears to be 10 a.m, which seems to be established now. But Nancy Beaumont later said that the children left at 8:35 a.m. for the 8:45 a.m. bus. But we'll get into that in a bit later, so there is a bit of confusion. But after the children leave this home and they begin to walk, I'll just pan this camera to the right. They begin to walk in a easterly direction along Harding Street down to Diagonal Road. So after the children leave 109 Harding Street here in Somerton Park that morning, Nancy rides her bike to visit a nearby friend, which I believe was on the other side of Diagonal Road. She stayed there for a while, and then she returned to meet the children for the midday bus on Diagonal Road. But the children weren't there. They weren't on the bus. So Nancy rides back home to this home, and a couple of friends happen to stop by, so they chat, with Nancy keeping an eye on the 2 p.m. bus, expecting the children to return sometime after. Of course, the children have not returned on the 2 p.m. bus either. At 3 p.m, Grant Beaumont returns home. He's actually come home a day early because I think the sale didn't go through up in Snowtown, so he gave it away and decided to come back. When Grant arrives here at 109 Harding Street, Nancy tells him that the children have not returned from the beach. So Grant goes out searching in his car while Nancy stays home in case the children return. Grant drives around Glenelg Beach and surrounding streets looking for his children. He can't see them. Returns home. Of course, he's probably half expecting the children to have returned, but they haven't. So then both himself and Nancy get in the car and begin another search. And they continue searching until around 5-6 p.m, and then eventually they report the children missing at the police station in Mosley Square in Glenelg. So this is the home. Let me see if I can see that. Where's that number on the letterbox? There it is, right there, number 109. Now, you can't see into the house now. Used to be able to, but they've got the brush fence up now. But that home there, if you can just see it over the top of the brush fence, if I just pan around, I believe that is the same house that was here all those years ago on Australia Day 1966. Okay, I'm at the front gate of the former home of the Beaumont children, and this is the path they would have taken that fateful morning as they walked along Harding Street in an easterly direction toward Diagonal Road bus stop. Now, which side of the road they walked on, I'm not 100% sure, because I do have some confusion about where the bus stop was. Was it to the left of screen or to the right of screen? Let's just assume they walked on this side of the footpath, the northern side of Harding Street heading east. Just imagine the three Beaumont children, Jane, Arnna and Grant, walking here on that fateful day, January 26, 1966. Just three little children innocently walking to the bus stop, unaware that they are about to walk into oblivion and to history in one of the most enduring mysteries in Australian crime, the Beaumont abduction. Now that morning, January 26, 1966, the Beaumont children walked to the bus stop here on Diagonal Road in Somerton Park. Now today, which is 2023, the bus stop is where you're looking at on Diagonal Road, which is south of Harding Street. If I just pan around, that's Harding Street entrance, the Beaumont home just further on. So today the bus stop is just there. Now I'm not sure that was the bus stop in 1966. I've seen a diagram which seems to indicate the bus stop was a bit further to the north of Harding Street, around that area. So I'm just not sure. But anyway, the relevant point is that the Beaumont children boarded the bus here on Diagonal Road for Glenelg Beach. Now, as I said, there was confusion over the time. Nancy Beaumont later claimed that the children boarded the 8:45 a.m. bus. Now, a female passenger on the bus said she saw the Beaumont children. She said she saw three children, two girls and a boy. The two younger ones were playing around, and the older girl was on the back seat reading a book. Now, Jane did bring with her a copy of Little Women with her to read, so that all adds up, though the woman passenger said the time was for the 8:45 a.m. bus, confirming what Nancy said. But the bus driver, who also says he remembers three children getting on his bus who matched the Beaumont children description, he said they got on his 10:10 a.m. bus. So, as I said, confusion over the times. It does appear that the official time these days is around 10:10 a.m. that morning. Whatever the exact time was, the Beaumont children boarded the bus here on Diagonal Road for the short trip to Glenelg Beach, about 2.5 kilometres away. Right, we're on the corner of Moseley Street and Jetty Road, Glenelg. And this is the spot where it's presumed the Beaumont children disembarked from the bus from Diagonal Road. Now, most likely the bus stop was on the eastern side of Moseley Street, around that vicinity there. I caught the bus here from Diagonal Road, and that's the way it comes from. So I assume it was on the western side, that is, the western side. So we'll say around there. The Wenzel's Cake Shop is off there to the left of screen. Now, it was in this area that postman Tom Patterson saw the Beaumont children. Postman Patterson was he knew the children by sight as he worked their route, delivered letters to their home on Harding Street. so he knew them by sight. The Beaumont children recognised him and waved it with Grant Beaumont saying, "It's the postie." Now, like the time the children got on the bus, there's some confusion as to what time Tom Patterson actually saw them. Was it the beginning of his route in the morning, or was it the end of it in the afternoon? It seems to be accepted now that it was early in the morning, though Mr. Patterson changed his mind sometimes. I think he said first it was in the afternoon, then it was in the morning, then back to the afternoon, and then I think in 1988 he finally worked out it was in the morning. So I think it was safe to say, well, we'll go with it being in the morning anyway, that the Beaumont children saw postman Tom Patterson. And but this is where they got off from the bus, here on the corner of Mosley Street and Jetty Road, and they would have then walked the very short distance to Glenelg Beach, which is that direction west. Mosley Square, 100 metres away, the beach a couple hundred metres away. So that's where the Beaumont children got off the bus and walked to Glenelg Beach that morning. Now I'm here at Glenelg Beach, and one of the greatest challenges of recreating the Beaumont abduction is finding exactly where they were, which, because there's been so many changes around Glenelg Beach since 1966, over half a century ago. But I think I found the general location where the Beaumont children were last seen playing, and it's in this vicinity here. In the background is the old Glenelg Town Hall. If I pan to the left is the modern day beach house, and this area in front here, as you can see now, is all concrete. But back in 1966, I believe there was more pathways and some grassy verges. There's grassy verges to the left of me here, but this is pretty much where the Beaumont children were last seen. Now, after leaving Mosley Street, getting off the bus and walking, they walked to Glenelg Beach, which, if I pan around, is over in this vicinity. That's the beach over there. Let's go back a bit. That's the beach over there. Then at about 11 AM, a friend of Jane Beaumont sees the three children, the Beaumont children, playing in the shallows near Glenelg Jetty. Then they run to the grass area, which was around this area, where they played under the sprinklers. That was a friend of Jane Beaumont who said that. Now, the next major witness is a woman aged 74 who sees them playing with a man. Now, she described the man as tall and thin and around 185 centimeters tall, 30 to 40 years, wearing bathers, and described him as a suntan surfy. Now, that description becomes the basis for the famous identikit. But over the years, that identikit has been questioned because the description of the man has seemed to have changed over the years. Now, this 74-year-old woman, she said the man was laying on the grass with Jane and Arnna jumping around him, which indicates that obviously there's some sort of rapport going on with this man and the children. Now, the woman left at around midday. Another eyewitness was a man from Broken Hill. I believe he was down visiting the test match, which was on at Adelaide Oval. I think it was Australia and England in 65, 66, yes it was. Now, he described the man in his late 30s and early 40s, but not a surfy. So the identity has changed somewhat. He definitely described him as not a surfy. Now, also at around midday, an elderly couple were here with their granddaughter. They saw a man with three children, and he approached them and he inquired whether they'd seen anyone messing with their clothes, as money was missing. Now, again, this is interesting. If that was the Beaumont children, which presumably it was that a ruse by the man? Did the man take Jane's money? while she wasn't looking, and then say, oh, look, listen kids, someone's stolen your money, so he could become the saviour with the money to lure them away. Now we know somebody gave Jane a £1 note, and this would have to be this individual. Now the woman sees the man helping the children put on their bathers. The last they saw of the man was walking off to the change rooms, which the change rooms, if I pan to the left, were in that vicinity over there. That's Collie Reserve over there. Well, this is part of Collie Reserve, and so that's where the man walked, to where the changing rooms were. So they were the, they were the eyewitness testimony. So in this general area was the Beaumont children last seen playing with this man on Australia Day 1966. As you can see, it's all very much changed out of sight now, but this was the general location where the Beaumont children were last seen playing before they were last seen at the Wenzel's Cake Shop. I'm standing on Mosley Street at Glenelg in front of what used to be the Wenzel's Bakery. Now the Wenzel's Bakery closed down in 2009, and you can see it's now some sort of Thai massage place. But it was in this location on the afternoon of January 26, 1966 that the Beaumont children were last seen. At around 12 p.m, midday that afternoon, the three Beaumont children entered this store on Mosley Street and bought their lunch. Now, of course, this is where the money that Nancy Beaumont gave the children comes into it. Of course, Nancy gave the children 8 shillings, I think it was. But when the children bought lunch here that afternoon, they paid for it with a £1 note, which obviously someone else must have given them. Now, not only did the Beaumont children buy their lunch of pies and pasties, but they also bought a second lunch. So somebody had obviously given them the £1 note to buy some extra food. The female cashier working here did not see the children with any person. And this was the last sighting of the Beaumont children, right here on Mosley Street, in front of the old Wenzel's Bakery. As you can see, it is no longer the Wenzel's Bakery, the final sight of the Beaumont children.